This is the show where we take a look at every single board game crowdfunding campaign that is finishing up this week, diving into the rule books and figuring out if it's a good game or if you should just forget about it entirely, like you will me as soon as the video ends. I'm Chris George, your host, and this is Crowdfunding Clowndown. Welcome to episode 77. If you missed the first 76, well, you've missed 1,000 games, so get it together. And this week is where things start to turn up a little bit. I'm not sure how many games I will actually cover, because some of them look real bad, and then when they're real bad and I can't make jokes about them, well, I don't like to subject you to that. I did just include what will be a bonus feature of me shuffling, but I'll leave that for the end of the video so as to not completely lose retention. So let's get into the week. We've got a lot of games to cover this week. It is certainly not quick and dirty like this campaign is explaining. But first off, I do want to say that I'm filming this a little bit early, so if I happen to get any new patrons in the past week, I'll give you your shout out next week. I don't want you to think that I've forgotten about you. I think about you constantly. All of my future patrons who I know are going to just turn up. I just know it. No, thank you to everybody who does support the channel, who's able to support the channel. Again, I like to do a weekly prostration in gratitude for all of you. I just appreciate you all a bunch, and I just think you're all pretty great, and I just really appreciate you. So I like to say that publicly, and then do the other weekly things that I do privately to honor you in the comfort of my own home. Let's get into the week. We're not getting into quick and dirty RPG. It's the Priory of Red Piatar. It's a quick and dirty thing. There's some campaigns. Who cares? We got too much to cover. We're actually covering Mimic Dice, the Founding, and you know we're covering it because it says great price, great dice, Mimic boxes with just a touch of world domination, but really because every backer gets a free coral. A free coral! But actually, well, this would be a reason to get some dice, so you can get a really funny Mimic Dice box where you can store your dice, and the price here seems really decent. Dice are expensive. This is $12 for a set of dice and a free coral. You can see 791 people have pledged. Normally that lowest pledge isn't good, but this one does look good. I think the dice don't look that exciting, to be honest, but for that price, it feels like a really good price, and you get a free coral. And if you spend $100, it gives you bonus items, which are listed somewhere as I scroll to them, but you can get a shirt or socks or whatever. Right here. Some shirts, socks, or an additional coral. Or a Mimic Dice tray, which, there you go. Ooh, I like Mystery Dice random set. You never know what's going to happen. Includes the Mimic Tuck box, so your free coral right there. And yeah, I thought that was funny, and for those people who enjoy dice, you may want to check this one out, because while the dice look okay, I think the highlight here is the free coral, and that's funny enough that $12 feels worth it. Let's see what the shipping was. They have it. They better. Shipping $11 for the minimum pledge, $26 to Canada. So no, I'm not doing it. I was considering it, but I'm not doing it. So it's actually $23 for a set of dice and a coral delivered to your home. Still not too bad. I think not too bad. So anyway, check that out if you're interested. That finishes Thursday, February 16th at 10:59 a.m. Moving along to Witchy Cakes, a towering game of cakes and chaos. I'm sorry, I immediately have to stop and tell you that the second line in this video is witches brew with care and lovin'. Oh, you know they do. I got a couple witches that could give me a call if that's the case, or if that's the cake. And I mean, don't tell Maggie, but there's some witches in here that could give her a run for her money. Don't tell Maggie I said. It's okay, we're open. She's off with Pablo now on a honeymoon of some sort. So, well, not a honeymoon, because they're not, well, they might be. I'm saying Maggie's fine with it, okay? I would hop in their oven if they looked at me like that. And really, I wanted to cover it for this. Oh, you gotta stop going through it. Clearly this fish right here, that's the witch under the sea that's the version of the Little Mermaid that I want to watch right there. Ah, I can sing. I lost my voice. Yeah, it's gonna be a very simple card game, probably one you're not interested in, but I really do like the art on this. Not in that way. Jesus. Well, there we go. Rules I'd like this to be bigger, but it's nice that they have the full rules. It's a little take that card game. You're trying to make yourself a cake while destroying other people's cakes. That's basically what it is. It's 25 bucks US, and then shipping is between 45 to 22, 16 to the US. Most places 45, 22 to Canada. Way too expensive for what it is, but yeah, I like the art, but I mean, it's just a little take that card game, which never interests me. But if you're interested in that, check that out Thursday, February 16th at 11:01 a.m. Moving along to something that does interest me, it's the epic spell wars of the Battle Wizards Annihilaggedon 3. Moms are losing their shit and insist you don't even look at it. Don't even look at it. Epic Spell Wars 3 Satanic Panic. It's raised a bunch of money. I've played number 1 and 2, and they're actually pretty fun deck builders. They're in that Cryptozoic system. They're better than the DC deck builder. They take the DC deck builder flow, and they make it a little bit better, and feels less random, which is weird, because it's always random. But the way you interact and fight your opponents and actually having a health tracker makes it work so much better than the DC deck builder. So let's see what new stuff they got here. So if you haven't played Annihilaggedon 1 or 2, the basic premise is it's a deck builder. It's a deck builder where you punch your friends in the face, or in this case, in Satan's butthole. That's exactly what this type of game is. If that doesn't make you giggle at least a little bit, well, then you shouldn't get it. But honestly, I don't pay that much attention to the art and to the sort of funny cards or funny names that they're trying to go for. It's the actual mechanics of chaining things together that's fairly fun for Annihilaggedon. The reason you shouldn't get this is because Annihilaggedon and Annihilaggedon 2 exist. But this is one where I saw it was coming back to Kickstarter, and I thought, yeah, see, there you go. Satan's taint. You get tainted by Satan, and you're going to defeat more legendary stuff and avoid the curse of Beelzebub buttholes. That's the game. That's the type of game it is. It tells you exactly what it is. But if you find that mildly enjoyable, you know, if you find Beelzebub's butthole mildly enjoyable, then maybe check this one out. I mean, Big Daddy Boom Boys is something that appeals to me. But yeah, you start out with a smaller deck, and then you buy a bunch of stuff, which all have different types, spells, wizards, treasures, and they generally will chain together. And then you do that to destroy the competition and destroy big bads. And the more of those you get to add them into your deck, and they feel completely overpowered. I forget immediately what I was saying because I read this little concept, and one player is going to get to play as Satan, and Satan will get to build their deck in a different way. So that's kind of exciting, and that does feel like it is a reason to get it versus the other ones. And they're also offering Epic Spell Wars of the Battle Wizards Anarchy at the Arena, which is a new revitalization of the previous Epic Spell Wars, which you have a hand of cards, you lay them down, you try to fight each other. It's Battle Royale, sort of battle to the death. I liked Epic Spell Wars. I got into Epic Spell Wars when I first started in the board gaming hobby, and I thought, okay, this is kind of funny and zany, and you can just shout at your friends. But the deck building aspect of Annihilaggedon blows it out of the water, and I don't think you should even consider it. But it is nice that in this version, they're incorporating what is great about Annihilaggedon is that there is no player elimination, whereas there was in Epic Spell Wars. So in the new version, it seems they're going to incorporate the Dead Wizard tokens, and your spells keep on going. So you still get to keep playing the game, which is kind of fun. However, let's check out the prices, right? 45, so Annihilaggedon, 45 bucks, which is 60 bucks Canadian. And then you're going to have to talk about the shipping. You wanted this Satan salute statue. You're going to have to talk about the shipping. Well, you don't have to talk about it, but I do. Shipping is going to be 23 for the Imp, 34 to get to Canada. And when you look, Epic Spell Wars and Annihilaggedon, the deck building game, I mean, it's sold out. It's out of print right now, but it's $40 Canadian, right? So I would be paying double, maybe more than double to get this to my door. And unfortunately, the additional stuff that you're getting, 2 cards, 3 cards, honestly, who cares? It's not worth it for the difference in price. I think it's a legitimately fun game, and it's a better game than I was expecting it to be. It's a fun deck builder. It's one that my friends own, and I'm happy they own it because I'll happily play against them. But for For a Kickstarter, I don't think it's the right call. But if you're interested in that, check that out. It finishes Thursday, February 16th at 1 p.m. Moving along to Hollywood 1947, a movie-making game of strategy and deception. Create masterful films with the other members of your film studio, but beware of spies slipping propaganda into the movies. This has raised a bunch of money. It's doing quite well. And this is another bigger social deduction game where you're trying to make movies, but you don't want the communists to slip propaganda in there. This right here, this rules overview is great, and it's like any social deduction game, right? You have good team, bad team, and here you also have a rising star who wants to extend the game because they're like me. They just want the movies to continue being made, and they just want to be in them. They don't care if they've got communism undertones or patriotic undertones. They just want the spotlight, damn it! So that's a pretty funny new role added in. And then in addition, they have one interesting that kind of sets it apart from other social deduction games is that you're going to be adding your card into it, whether it has communist overtones or patriotic overtones, into the film, and then one of those cards will be removed. So you shuffle them, you remove one randomly, and then you turn them all up. So if your communist card happens to be removed, you say, listen, we're all good here. Everybody did it. We're all on the same team, right? So it kind of gives the option for that. Or you say, mine was removed. I was patriotic. Everyone else put communism in there. So that seems fun. It's in this old Hollywood style, and I like how you score the points as well. That also seems kind of fun. You can see there you're putting a blue sort of film strip over it. Those are how you score the points. Kind of a unique way. I don't know how you'd want to really hold on to those. And so the poster itself, the type of film that you're making, can also have like a blue or a red connotation to it as well. And the only people who get to add stuff to their game are the ones who have stars in front of them. So you can re-roll dice, and you have various roles, these 9 job cards that you get to do. You can do special abilities. So it kind of meets like Citadels meets social deduction, that style of stuff. But I also like the idea of these job cards. This one seems fun. I like social deduction. Of course, there's a deluxe edition. I know that's probably what my friend Reed is getting. He already told me he was backing this game, which is great because I think it looks cool. But 37 Canadian, 27 US for the base game, and then shipping. There's a little costumes expansion, which is great to have additional cards. Whoa! And good shipping. I guess because it's going to be a small box, right? $5 shipping to the US, $8 shipping to Canada. That's not bad. That's pretty good. So it'd be $32 to get to your door. And for something like Avalon would be its comparison. Avalon now has the big box, but it was around $20 US. You're paying a little bit more, but really good shipping. And this is incredible. What you pay now for shipping is all you will pay for shipping. You're paying for shipping now, and that's it. You do not have to fill out a pledge manager. That is a very bold claim, which I think deserves to be rewarded. So check this one out. Yeah, it feels like a really decent price for what you're getting, and seems like a fun game. That finishes Thursday, February 16th at 4 p.m. Moving along to Coal Baron. Coal Baron is back. I don't know why I said it like that. And an enhanced edition! When was Coal Baron first around? It was first around 2013. So 10 years, 10-year anniversary, sort of. Re-implemented by Coal Baron, the Great Card Game! 2016. We don't want that. We want this. 7.3. Rank 716 on Board Game Geek. Anything in the top 1,000 is generally, something I'm interested in. But it hasn't raised a lot, so immediately that tells me, okay, probably overpriced or not enough updates from the original. But we'll see. Let's see. This is also a really funny video. They're like, hey, the video's over. Enjoy reading The Return, composed by Alexander Nokorada, while reading Coal Baron's campaign. They're giving you a soundtrack for their campaign to get you really excited about the Kickstarter, to know that you should purchase it. I'm going to take that soundtrack out of here, though, because it's probably already too much bled in. Coal Baron Enhanced Edition is already €50, $73 Canadian. It's kind of standard. No shipping to certain places. This was the portion that was just really small in the video that they held on for such a long time. Mind-boggling sometimes. Oh, I've played Brass. I know how important coal is. Well, that's kind of what I like to see in a deluxe edition, that it just gets you metal coins and playmats. Download the game rules in your favorite language. Well, it doesn't have my favorite language, and nor can I read my favorite language effectively. But I guess I'll choose English then. So it's a worker placement game of sort of escalating worker placement, but very similar to Keyflower. If I want to go here, but you're not bidding for things, you just get to take the action. So Keyflower on the city tiles and not out front. If you can go here for one, but if there's somebody already there for one, you remove them and then you put two down. So you kind of have to put one more than the other thing, which I like. I like those spots being open, but really expensive to get.
Did someone say expensive?
I'm surprised they're not doing the Canary Down the Shaft expansion, but too dark maybe. I am excited for the next reprint of this in 10 more years called Windmill Baron, when we realize that fossil fuels are a thing of the past. Yeah, very simple. You're going to be building out your own little underground dungeon filled with dirty soot and coal. At least what my underground dungeon is filled with. I swear, officer. You'll do that through worker placement, and then you'll move your little cart up and down and collect one resource per level. And then you spew those resources out into orders, and you get points for orders, and you score your orders and your progression along the game as it goes through. Seems fun. I mean, it's by Kiesling and Kramer and Kiesling, tomato, mono-y tomato, but I feel like I could just get an old edition, right? The previous Coal Baron sold out, but it was for 40 bucks Canadian, right? That's kind of what I would want to pay for this game. It just feels like it's going to be too much, especially after shipping, which let's check what that is. UK, £13. USA, £17. Canada, £20. Right, so this isn't a $100 game. It isn't. It's a sort of $50 to $60 game, but when you add the shipping on top, it becomes like a $70 to $80 to $100 game, depending on your currency, and that's just not something that interests me personally, but if you're interested, check it out. That also finishes Thursday. Big day for things finishing February 16th at 5:01 p.m. Moving along, we have Hero Realms Dungeons, a new 80-card market deck, 6 new characters, and an all-new 12-encounter dungeon campaign for 1 to 5 players. Cool. Almost raised over $1 million Canadian. It's doing very well. That's a video that shows you why you need a teleprompter in front of the camera. But this is going to be $59 US, $80 Canadian. I was expecting 50 from what they were describing, and this will add in a new way to play Hero Realms. You have the standard way to do the market, and then you also have a promo card campaign mode where you can go through a 12 campaign little set of villain. See all these little encounters right here, 12 encounters, solo co-op campaign, and then you can also have the standard player versus player deck building goodness. I think this looks fun. I think Hero Realms is known for it being an interesting game. I like deck building sort of campaigns, and I like that you can have these sort of one-off monsters that you have to take down. That does excite me because it reminds me of Aeon's End, and I quite enjoyed my Aeon's End Legacy experience, but for this price, I don't know, you might as well just go get Aeon's End Legacy, right? They're also trying to sell you a bunch of different characters to go through this campaign, which seems fun, but also that adds on an additional expense. I think Hero Realms, for me, is known so well to be cheap and in that sort of $20. It was in our affordable deathmatch, or at least Star Realms was. It's easy to get a very small box, figure out if you like it, and I think that's where it potentially shines. And adding in more and more content, more and more cards, just expands that experience, and I don't know if it develops it in the way that's worth the expense. But I'm also someone who won't purchase the Dominion cards because it gives me too much of a physical card market to deal with. Although I do like the Dominion setup that my neighbor has. They put all of the Dominion cards in separate Ziploc bags, and then you can open up one giant box and just reach in and grab out 10 Ziploc bags, and those are your random starting market. So you just smash all the expansions together in that way and don't worry about storing them. That's actually a really good way of randomizing things, and I like the content that goes from the complexity that moves forward. We're at $15 to $25 in shipping, $25 to $35 for Canada, so let's call it 25, right? Let's call it 25. Be prepared for it to be 25. Is it worth $95 to get yourself this 300 card Hero Realm box set? Or do you want to just spend 20 and go get the regular Hero Realms that has 80 cards or something like that? I feel it's the latter, but up to you. Check it out if you're interested. Obviously, 4,317 people disagree with me, so maybe you do as well. That also finishes Thursday, February 16th at 10 p.m. We're into good campaigns this week, I think, and that's going to keep on going. I just know it because it's a easy to learn, hard to master, unique strategic board game based on the Scandinavian Troll Legend. I knew as soon as I saw Scandinavian Troll Legend that this was something I would want to look at. and I hope is great. I mean, the video makes it look good. I would be afraid to put this one into a death match because I would be afraid it would be set on fire and Troy Barnes would have to swallow it. Although this one feels a bit targeted to me with the Big Nose edition. I guess that's what I gotta go for. I guess I can't go for the standard edition because my schnoz is getting honkier by the day. This describes itself as a worker movement game. And what that basically is, you're going to have your own board where you can move and select actions. Basically action selection, but you have different trolls. But you can put them on the main board as well. And in a sort of architect's fashion, the more people that are in a specific spot, the more stuff you're going to get. And what I do think is kind of neat about this is that you are going to draw a card at the end of your turn where you know where the Troll King is going to be at the beginning of your next turn. So you see where they move and you can pre-plan where you know where the troll is going to move. It helps you pre-plan and helps the game keep clipping along, but it adds that extra knowledge that the other people don't know. So you have something extra that you can use to plan your moves as you move things around. I think that feels kind of cool. Rulebook a little before halfway down the page. It's okay. Could be higher. What I love about Game Brewer is that their rulebooks never load. Really great for me. Well, that's very annoying that they never friggin' load. Not never, but I've been waiting and I'm no longer waiting. At least the video gives you a sense of what does look cool, and I think this does look neat, but it's 55 euros, $80 Canadian for a game where your rulebook is not working for me to look at. That's really unfortunate. I don't need a fancy graphic of turning the page when that's what all that is housed on there. Just give me a Dropbox link with a PDF. That's all I want. I do like that you're trading in human babies for troll babies. There's a lot to this and that the video presents that I like and I can see really enjoying. My other favorite thing is building cave tiles. So to expand upon your cave network. So your spots get bigger and bigger, kind of, again, Keyflower-esque as you build outwards as the game progresses. That feels really fun. And I like the idea of the worker movement. I just want to know a little bit more about it. But unfortunately, there's another refresh. It's not going to friggin' work. I guess I love the village board. Get out of here. These look like unicorns to me, or maybe my mind is still in Horse Girl, which it's likely I'm traumatized from last week. I do love that you're the only way you entice princesses to come with you is through diamonds. Princesses love diamonds. Oh, no wonder the trolls went extinct. If you think you are going to buy more than one game for a game, though, it is worth signing up for their subscription. It costs you 30 euros to subscribe, and you get 25% discount. And as prices go up, it's not bad. So you see, you could get a Big Nose for 56.25. So 20 off, so it's not worth it unless you think you're going to get more games from them. I like that you can have local pickup, but shipping is going to be 20 bucks at least. 25 for me here in Canada. So again, it's like 55, it's like 75 euro, over $100 for this game, which I think looks better than Coal Baron. For the price between this and Coal Baron, I would pick this for sure. Just I think the quality of components in the game seems a little bit more unique. I just wish. Of course, right as I've talked all about it, now I get the rulebook. Jesus. That's good though, it finally worked. Yeah, here's where we go, talking about the action points. So it's the number of trolls that are there gives you the number of action points that you can perform, and then also doing certain things in that place in the village costs a certain number of action points. So you're potentially setting up yourself or your opponent to do a better thing, and that's why you want to know where the Troll King goes, because then the Troll King can help you out. He can say, "Good job mining," and you say, "Oh, the king, he said something to me. Oh, thank God. I'll work even harder. The monarchy is not dead." Yeah, and to gain scoring, you just get a bunch of points for a number of stuff. Obviously, princesses are the best, but churches are okay as well. If you get sets of buildings, yeah, cool. Okay, I like it more now. I like that it's confirmed to be what I expected it to be. Check out your village actions that you can do in the village. I love the, you know, the use of the Scandinavian word village for any what we might say is a village, but is clearly a village. So definitely like that. Definitely like that they're being true to the Scandinavian lore. If you're interested in that, finish this Friday, February 17th at 9 a.m. Moving along, we've got something special. That's right, Cards with No Sexuality, Volume 3. Just look at these cards. These cards are funny. Now, I have seen some funny cards back in the day. They've looked just like this. They're black and white because that's how the world works. But let me tell you, these cards, they look funny. I'm not going to say that because I have one, but that person, play me some music to put me in the mood for turning yourself into the proper authorities. Yeah, what kind of music would that be? What about bringing your stillborn infant to a taxidermist? That's funny. People's trauma, wow, is just zany, right? Like, it's just really funny to, like, talk about people's trauma and, like, really horrible situations that they went into, but we're being bad because we've never been in those. Or I want to be in the mood and stumbling on my mom's nudes because parents, they've never had any sex before. It's weird, okay. Oh man, but it said no sexuality here, and it said that there wasn't any, but there is some. That's also wild to me. Oh, gosh, boy, I can't wait to have a fun game night. Oh, and pull this out. People will go nuts for it. You want a nice card game? Just do Spicify, or as my patrons like to say, play some cards and I think you'll have a better time. Depending upon, you know, what you like. Anyway, if you really want to have a laugh, check this one out because it's original. Oh, it's original. It is really original too, which is nice. Oh, this is great. Racism is funny too. Whoa. And kidnapping kids. It's just the reason it's funny. Okay, no, you don't get it. You don't get it, okay? Because the reason it's funny is because it's just so outrageous. And I'd never say these things. Okay, I would never say these things ever. But when they're on a card, I get to say them. Because it's written by someone else. But I would never do it, all right? But now we can have a little giggle because it's on a little card. So it's pretty good. Yeah, right? Oh, wow. Oh, boy. These cards are funny. Oh, these cards are really, really funny. Let's move on to... AEGIS, Combining Robots Season 2. Whatever you are, AEGIS, congratulations. You are going to be better than the previous thing that we looked at. Somebody asked me to look into this, so hey, I saw it, and I'm gonna. And maybe it was the people who created it. I don't know. Or maybe it wasn't. Let me know if it was. Like, just be honest. Say like, hey, yeah, it was me, and I just did it because I wanted you to look at it. I look at everything anyway. I think it's great. People... I'm very grateful people send me emails and are interested in me covering their games. Absolutely love that. But I'm gonna cover it. But it's good to send it because sometimes I do miss some, like I did with Orc Quest, and you all set me straight. So I'm definitely appreciative of that. Let's check this one out. I would watch this anime. Putting me in a good mood. Yeah, even with that. That's a banger. That's a friggin' banger. Let's check it out. Dang, 59. So 80 Canadian. I was hoping for less with it being a card game. But even still, that's a good quote. Advanced Wars is basically Fire Emblem. So where's the rulebook then? How to play got me real intrigued. Yeah, baby. Rulebook a third of the way down. All right. This appeals to me. They spell Aegis. Get it? Assault, evasive guard, intel support. This different type of robots that you can play. You get it? That's how I feel quite frequently. I get it. I get it on more levels than you would expect. This is what is exciting to me. So you're going to have a number of cards, and all those cards will have energy. You'll have a shared energy resource, but you can smash them all together if they're of different types to make a big, cool Transformer, Ultron, whatever it is, Power Ranger. Here we go, all 5 together. That gets me hyped. I don't know if it's $100 hyped, but it looks fun. I also like all the 5 nations, and all the characters are also in that same AEGIS. You get it? Oh, and sometimes Y. Yes, it's the vowels AEGIS and sometimes Y. That's what this was actually based off of. Now, this is nice, but it also seems like a monstrosity to keep track of. They say each of the 75 different robots has their own little punchboard piece. So you're going to be combing through all these mountains of standees, and I just hope that there's a good storage and a good system of organization. It does say they are organized when you first open the box, but after you first open the box, does it all go to funny card games? I don't know. That's another word for shit, in case you didn't. You get it? Because they're shit. Because they're shit. All right, to be fair, I think the theme of this gets me a lot more excited than the actual gameplay does, which is unfortunate. I wanted the gameplay to give me that same thrill, and it doesn't. I like all these potentially variable teams that you can throw out. But basically, it's Kaiju, Emerge and Destroy. Oh, yeah. Like, I love the theme here, and I like the art a lot. Oh, and that's also really cool of how to arena for 1, 2, and 4 players. That's pretty neat. This feels like a 2-player game because you have, it's a skirmish game, right? You have a certain amount of energy. You can use that energy point in whatever ways you want to on your various robots for them to move around and shoot people and be the last person standing. You want to kick your opponent down so that they don't have 5 energy to recharge, and if you do, you win. I don't like this here. The standees, that does not inspire me with confidence to how you're going to organize the standees. It's just going to be a big jumbled mess. I like that there are separations. You can put all the different colors or whatever together to be a bit easier, but I don't know, I kind of want something like Robomon. The way Robomon did it with a bunch of different tokens, that feels like the way to do it. Anyway, $59. Yeah, $59 is a price I'd be interested in at that 60 price point. When you convert it to Canadian, it's 80. So then it starts getting to that point where you have to be really excited about it. And then the shipping, oh, hey, shipping to the US is pretty good. That's good. Yeah, US, $5 or 64? Not bad. Canada gets it to 73 US. That's 92? 97. $98. Yeah, again, another $100 game for me. And for me, it's not a $100 game. It's a $60 game. But if you're interested in skirmishes and this this art draws you in, again, I think it's that style and it's that idea that you can combine robots into cooler robots. That is going to be the thing that you want as you run around this board. Then that would be worth looking into. Otherwise, it's just kind of a basic skirmish game. I'm not a huge skirmish game guy anyway, so there's nothing that really makes it stand out to me in particular. But it seems fun, and I mean, I love the theme. And come on, this is a banger. It really is. So check it out. That finishes Friday, February 17th at 8 p.m. Moving along. All right, I was considering skipping this one because it's low funding, 65 backers. At 41, that means the average there is like $70 a person, and I don't like that as an average. You can see only 10 backers for the sort of base deluxe edition, 18 on the early bird. Yeah, like these numbers feel like they're padded, and I don't like seeing that. But again, it might just be somebody, you know, helping out a friend. This hasn't funded, so I also don't often talk about those sorts of things, but we're here and I watched this whole video of how to play, so I might as well talk about it and see if it strikes a chord with you. It seems like it could be interesting, but it also could not be at all. You know, you're laying down these cards. You first have a draft of cards, and you put cards into your hand, and then you're going to play cards one at a time, boom, 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 boom. They're all going to have different abilities. So depending on when you play them and what the abilities have, you can then switch things out. But the goal is basically just to play the highest number the soonest. That's what this example said, and that just feels very, very pedestrian to me. But it's I guess on the abilities of the cards is how you can reorient these sorts of things and change the makeup of this. That would be interesting potentially, of that drafting, figuring out what your opponents are going to do and how you can counteract those, and holding onto the cards to counteract them. That might be interesting. I'm really not sure. It's $25 US plus $8 shipping. So $33 US for this little card game. It'd be $50 Canadian. No chance for me, right? $33 US. I don't know. So I figured I'd mention it. You can go check it out if that like initial breakdown was interesting to you. That finishes Saturday, February 18th at 9:50 a.m. This one, yeah, sure, we'll talk about it just quickly. It's a €4 print and play, right? I like talking about print and plays because they're cheap if you like them. Actually, let me know. Let me know if you've ever gotten a print and play off Kickstarter in the comments, because I can stop talking about them. But sometimes it's just kind of fun to talk about them in terms of like an idea standpoint. I think that's what this one is for me. It's a 2-player game. You're going to race to the golden idol, and you can either move your character through a pathway, or you can shift a map tiles to create new pathways. Kind of a nice, interesting little shifty, puzzly thing. Not much more than that to say about it, though. Seems fine, seems interesting from that philosophical side of things, but in terms of if somebody would pull this out and said, hey, would you want to play Twin Raiders? I'd say, no, I don't think I would. But I would. I would play it, but I don't think I would want to, you know? Anyway, check that out. The finish is Sunday, February 19th at 11:04 a.m. And let me know if I should stop covering print and plays. Chances are I should. Next up, and maybe our last one, because I think the other ones might look bad. So we'll see. Maybe this is the last one. We'll see. We have Deep Shelf, the relaunch, an engine-building board game of deep-sea exploration, resource management, and research from the designer of Dinogenics. All right, this seemed to be like a very standard get resources sort of thing, but then they pull this out. Be careful if you exploit the sea too much, you're going to anger the depth dragon. Which I certainly would not want to do that unless I was a Jedi, in which case that would be my, my daily life of flying into teeth and popping out the other end. But other than that, unfortunately, I'm not a Jedi, even though Kickstarter's mind tricks don't work on me. That's unfortunately not me. This seems kind of neat. What's the price? Yeah, 78 US, 105 Canadian. I was worried this would be that. Again, it's probably going to fall into that category of too expensive for what it does. Oof. There you go. You got your Kickstarter mini, though. So now you can justify it. The competitive experience seems... There's 2 ways to play, competitive and a 1 to 2 co-op campaign. The fact that it only says 1 to 2 and it's 2 to 4 competitive makes me feel like it is realized. Is that a weird thing? I feel like when you change the player count, you're saying, listen, we thought this through. It only works at this player count. It at least shows a little bit of thought rather than trying to cram in everything. And then that gives you your solo mode too with the 1 to 2 player branching campaign. So I like potentially why that's included. I think the components here are going to look really nice though. Rulebook is halfway down the page. Let's see it. You can also try before you buy though, Tabletop Simulator. And I do love this. I do love that the rulebook is above what you get. I think Deep Shelf should be commended for that they are putting their best foot forward. And I am excited by what I see. I do like this as an endgame condition, though. They really just highlight the one endgame condition of the environmental collapse when you've extracted too much from the ocean and it can't sustain you extracting anything else. Kind of like how most of my relationships end. But I really like this completed oceanic research track. There are 3 different tracks that you can go up on. Ecology, mineralogy, and zoology. Zoology obviously helping you deal with the deep sea dragon. Is that what it was called? I forget. I was just reading it. The Deep Shelf Elf. I think that was it. But once any person occupies the end of that track, the game also ends. So that to me feels really fascinating, because in a lot of these games, you want to push the tech tracks up, right? You push them up, you get the stuff, and you're normally going to specialize in one tech track. And so if you've specialized in one thing and then everybody else gets to the end, you potentially have the ability to trigger the end before everyone else, or to hold off until and try to buy yourself time. And I think giving that give and take of control in an aspect that you're going to already be looking for feels pretty neat. What's down here? These are just the faction overviews. Okay, I don't need to know about those. I do like that there's different factions though. This one feels fun to me. You can see the sort of progression that's going to happen as you head further and further into the deep and try to get better and better resources. I like the idea of the cost of resources and taking those resources out, and you're trying to establish your network the best before anybody else can. Now, the rulebook feels flushed, feels fleshed out. This is one where the concepts feel a little bit more either complicated or ethereal. It's hard to describe, and I guess that's my job, is to describe it, but it feels like they are so thought out, but I cannot see how they're going to work together just yet in terms of how the building impacts the other actions that you want to take. So this would be one that I would suggest trying before you buy, especially before you spend $78 on it, or 105 Canadian though. I am really intrigued. It feels well thought out. $19 extra to the US, 27 to Canada. So US, you're looking at paying $97, right? This is a $100 game, almost at the minimum. UK, it's the cheapest to get to. I guess it didn't really talk about how the game progresses. The basic turn structure is a good explanation. It's right at the beginning of the rulebook. I like the structure of the rulebook. I do. It's very thorough. You're going to have a hand of cards, and you're going to take those actions. When you use an action, it kind of goes in a timeout zone, which is where I'm used to spending most of my time as well. So I get it, action cards, until you take another action card and kind of replace it in the timeout zone. And that's the official term in the rulebook. Quick, I'm going to click away so you don't notice it. But yeah, $100 could be like 130 for me in Canada. Even to get that deep shelf elf and their smiley pearly whites, I don't know. I'm really happy it's funded. I think this is going to be a fun game, but there might be others that do it similar thing for cheaper. But if you want to support Ninth Haven Games and this relaunch, I always like seeing a relaunch because then it makes me realize that, hey, it didn't get funded before, and now it is. Dinogenics being the only other stuff that they've made. Yeah, check this one out. Looks kind of neat. Anyway, it finishes Sunday, February 19th at 2:03 p.m. Why does he keep throwing the dice away? Asked and answered. Good bit. Good bit. You drew me in, Dice Fights. You drew me in. Now you're getting coverage. Just for that. I mean, you know how expensive dice are. 40 dice for $20? 41 dice because the box is the dice? No, it's going to get friggin' broken. Tell me how to play, though. Is there any rule book at all? It's already been manufactured, so the shipping is, okay, 23 to Canada, 8 to the US. This might be doable for the US. $28. Kind of like Carl. Carl was $23, right? Way back when with Coral. Dang, I closed that tab. We're not doing it. We're not doing it again. Okay, this is a great explanation. Seems fine. You're going to be rolling dice at each other. You roll dice, you apply it in either attack, defense, or money, and then you get to re-roll when you see what other people have kind of put down, and then you do the results. This is one attack, that's one defense. See how they're kind of lined up with the little trackers. And then you can use your money to buy more dice, so you can roll and deal more damage, or upgrade your kind of initial stats. That's it. $28, $20, $28. You know what? Not bad if you just want to chuck some dice at each other. You could probably homebrew this, now that you know what it is, if you have a whole bunch of dice in front of you, in a bowl, Zachary Groombridge. But if you don't, if your name isn't Zachary Groombridge, and you don't have a bowl of dice, well then, maybe check this one out. That seems like a reasonable ask for the amount of dice and the amount of cost it would take to produce this sort of thing. So, yeah, not too bad. Happy to finish with that. Bam! And that is it. That is it for the week. I was getting used to the cushy, smaller weeks that didn't take as much time, but here we are. Every week I do a pick for me and a pick for you. Pick for me being the thing that I'm the most interested in, the pick for you being the thing that I think if you got, you would be the least likely to be disappointed in. Or the thing that I want you to pick up so I can play it at your house. And I think I do have a pretty clearly defined pick for me, pick for you. I was hoping some of the other ones would work their way in there. Like, I wish AEGIS worked its way in there. It didn't. Deep Shelf, I think, was close to working its way in there, but ultimately the price point, maybe the price point could be it. Pick for me is something I'm not going to get, but it's something that I know I already enjoy, and it is Epic Spell Wars Annihilaggedon 3. I legitimately enjoyed Annihilaggedon 1 and 2, and this just seems to be more of the same with a little bit of a twist. Again, this is not something I would ever purchase on Kickstarter, ever, ever, ever. But if you're interested in purchasing if you like deck builders, and you like battling deck builders where you can whittle down the health of somebody else and just get a bunch of overpowered, unbalanced cards, well, then check that one out. It's sometimes fun to play through and plays well at 2. I think with 3 it's good. More than that just takes too long in between the turns. You just want it to be you just want to be flailing your cards around. You know, you just want to be flailing them. So yeah, that's my pick for me. Pick for me is officially Annihilaggedon, and then pick for you is going to be Hollywood 1947, the social deduction game. That's the pick for you, Reed. Good job that you bought it. This one looks fun. I think it looks like a great take on the social deduction genre. I think the theming is what is really bringing me in here, and I think the additional stuff that you could do with your jobs gives enough information about how you're manipulating things for people to sense if you're a communist or if you're not, and if they want to re-roll, if they want to get those dice in front of you and just re-roll them, they want to just re-roll. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think there's enough here, and I think it's a pretty reasonable price point as well, that if you got this, it would deliver on its expectation. That's it for the week. Goodbye. So long. What are you backing? Let me know, as always. I'm ending it now. We'll cut to the bonus content for all you room and board heads, you roomies, you boarders, you rabid. Thanks for being here. My name's Chris George. You know what? I don't have a catchphrase, and I'm embarrassed and ashamed about it. But at least I have you. At least there's that. But before we get into that, back by popular demand, we got some shuffling to do. So I was told I was really triggering for all of you last week. If you missed last week, well, you probably missed out on not being triggered for all of eternity. I can see, oh my God. Here's the thing. I'm gonna shuffle these just gently. I watched the YouTube videos that you posted. Tell me how this is a good way of shuffling. I'm gently opening them in my hands, and I swear this isn't a bit. It will be a bit. Damn it. Maybe it's the sleeves. Maybe it's the sleeves. It's not the sleeves. I mean, it is the sleeves, but maybe it's these sleeves aren't the special sleeves. So you gotta just look, just a gentle mash. All right, but I do have a bone to pick with all of you. Yes, I did take the words mash literally, and yes, I was sort of smashing them more than mashing them, I will admit. But mashing, the action of mashing, is this. You mash them together. It's actually kind of working. So I'm cutting it in half and I'm kind of mashing it together 7 times as we have this discussion. I'm getting the hang of it. It's getting better. I watched the YouTube videos that you all put down. I've heard your comments, but I reject the term mash, and I think you all should. Maybe gently caress them together. That might be better. This is just... but I could receive another critique on my technique moving forward. On the corners, try to get them in on the corners. Just gentle, just gentle. And then I'm gonna riffle some damn cards together, and you're gonna see that I am the best shuffler around. All right, what was that? 5? I think it was 5. 2 more. Let's just do 6 because we gotta get this video underway. Everyone has already left. If you don't know what this is, go see last week's video of my attempt at mash shuffling, which I also will only do moving forward. All right, let's see. After 6 times, chunks of green, chunks of blue, green, blue. All right, not too bad. Blue, 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 another huge chunk of blue. See, this is where my bone to pick with mash shuffling actually exists. And try it with 2 different decks and tell me how good a mashed shuffler you are. You shouldn't see those chunks of blue. You should see them all nice and different. I mean, I should have done this with a deck of cards. I can see that they're fairly mixed up, but I don't think that if it was a deck of cards, you would still see some chunks of stuff that haven't been completely shuffled. Whereas if you take just a standard riffle shuffle, which you can't do with a deck of this size, I also understand that's why mashing has to happen. I still think my technique works pretty well. Okay, I'll stop. Jesus Christ. But if you take an ordinary deck of cards, thank you, Reviving Catmandu, normal deck of cards, you cut it. Tell me that's not better. Tell me that sort of shuffle isn't better as you just bring things together. Just gently with corners, right? A nice, simple That's so much more satisfying than mashing. And what irreparable harm am I doing to the cards right here? I don't think I'm doing much. I'm going to continuously, and you get this beautiful sound too. That's how you can tell that they're not sticking together, and you are just getting a clean riffle. I still reject it, but I reject it less. I reject it less, and this will not be the last time you see me attempt to mash shuffle. Maybe I'll leave this for the end. This is a bonus feature. You stuck around long enough for the bonus feature. Bonus feature of mashing, shuffling together. Only my true friends are here.